Welcome to the Amy Edwards Show. I'm your host, Amy Edwards, and of course, as usual, I am bursting with excitement about today's guest. She is a friend of the show, Amanda Nelson, so I can't wait to get to that. Little business up top. Thank you for being here. First and foremost, I could not be more grateful, and I feel it in my heart just even saying that. So I am so grateful that you're here for yourself, because the idea is to keep getting better and better all the time and keep finding ways to up-level our lives and be more of who we really are, and just keep magnetizing all the good stuff. So our guest today is a master of that. I cannot wait to talk with her. And don't forget to rate, review, subscribe, all the things. So thank you so much for being here. Now, let's welcome Amanda Nelson. You are also exploring Amanda on all the socials and your website, and you are the founder of wellness brand 60 Days Away. I was going to say journals, but I looked it up and it's a wellness brand.
Yes.
So yeah, congratulations to, has it been a year?
Yes, December 1st marks a year that the journals were released.
Oh my gosh.
Insane, right?
Insane.
So bizarre.
Yes.
Yeah.
Wow. Congratulations.
Thank you so much. It's a good like any anniversary or any anniversary point is sort of like a good time to reflect. And so just reflecting on that the other day, like, holy shit, like I helped a lot of people. And that's what it's all about. And so it
what
feels
was
really
your
good.
first run of it, and like how's it grown?
Yeah, I think I ordered like 1,000. Like it was a very, very small run because there was a lot of limiting beliefs, and I was like,
that's a decent size though. Yeah.
Yeah, but I was willing to I was like, if I need to sit on this inventory for a year, then that's fine.
Sure.
It sold out within the first 30 days. So that was my very first indication of, okay, people need this.
Wow.
I don't think personally it was like, you have 1,000 people who are really, really going to support you, because a lot of the orders came from strangers and people that I don't even know.
Yeah.
So it was good. It was reaffirming, reassuring. And then, we just hit a year. On December 1st will be a year. And I'm like, geez.
What limiting beliefs did you notice? Like, was it just those things like, I don't know if 1,000 will sell? Because I know I would have that. Like, just with these courses that I'm creating and stuff, I'm like, okay,
Nobody's
you just have
them.
to.
So stupid.
Yeah.
Nobody's going to buy them, because I did courses too. And I thought the same thing. And then another one that was really interesting that came up that I was not aware of at the time.
Yeah.
But looking back, and like, I did a lot of reflecting last week actually, and just kind of went through like, what have I learned in the past year? And I took a lot of inspiration from your 50 things turning 50.
Thank you.
Yeah. I was like, okay, well, I'm going to do the same thing. It's a year. I can do whatever I want. Right.
Yes.
So one of the things that surprised me was the outside perception of what people were going to think about another pivot from me, which is surprising because I literally talk all the time about who fucking cares about what somebody thinks of you. Why would you let somebody else's opinion? Like, I know their projections. I know that's their problem, not my problem. But when I launched the journal a year ago, I was like, gosh, another thing. She was doing this, and then she was doing this, and she was traveling, and now she's doing this. And
I do know.
Yeah.
I do know. And I have some angst about that myself, because I was like, I feel like I'm always telling people I'm doing this. Now I'm doing, music. Oh, now, I've started a podcast. Now I've, and it's just on, now I've written a book, and like, it sounds braggy, but no, I don't mean it that way. I just mean it's another pivot, and how is it going to be received?
Right.
And so.
But at the time, I was going through that. Reflecting now, I was like, okay, well, this was a thing. This happened. How did I work through it? And I was trying to remember, and I was like, I think I was just so like just bullheaded. Like,
yeah,
I don't
you just do it.
Care. Like, I'm doing it anywhere. You could think what I wanted, but it still bothered me a little bit at the time. So,
well, I think when you've had like several different incarnations, then you're like, oh, now this, and people, at least I project that people are going to go like, oh, she doesn't know what she wants to do. She's flighty. She can't commit or whatever, which those are my own limiting beliefs.
Totally.
When really it's growth.
Yeah. And it's a beautiful thing.
Let's
and
rebrand
it's great. Yeah. We need to do a rebrand.
Yeah.
I think too, like I love doing new shit. Like I look back, and I always had so many different jobs. Well, because I needed money. So I would do like 2 to 3 jobs at one time, but I liked doing different things. I've worked at so many places. Like I like that. I like putting and having my hands in like so many different things that are really like dichotomous, don't have to do with, it doesn't make sense, but I love it. And so I think when I look back at my life at the end, I'm going to be really, really glad that I did all of those different things.
Me too. I resonate with that. Like I hear about some people that are like, oh, this was my purpose from like Brooke Stubbs. When I talked to her, she was like, when I was 5, I decided I was going to be a doctor.
Right?
I'm like, wow.
I heard that and I was like,
wow. And so that's so foreign to me. So there are just different personality types. I took an Enneagram recently and this is one,
Yes.
and like I resonate with that. And so I think a lot of times I tend to talk to people that I'm like, it's okay to not know. And it's okay to try new things.
Yeah. I think we're a lot alike in that.
I do too.
Aspect too.
Well, everything you just said.
What's your like Enneagram number?
7.
Yeah, me too.
I as you were talking, I thought, I wonder if she's a 7.
I'm a 7.
Yes.
Yep.
I just did it recently because I'm going to have an Enneagram coach on the show. So,
Nice.
I just want to shout out, you've created your journal 60 Days Away, which if anyone is actually watching, I have a copy of the first run, run copy, which you should probably sign or something, right here that I have used. And then you also have created the cards, which I have downstairs. I didn't bring them up. So you have an Oracle deck? What do you call those?
Mindfulness
card deck.
Yeah.
And they're beautiful.
Thank you.
Yes.
Thanks.
So I just applaud what you've created because it's not ever easy.
No.
No.
Isn't it?
No, it's not.
It's not, but it's worth it in the end.
Yes.
And it's all, you're always learning. So whether or not it's a pivot or whether it's a new product or a course, you're gonna make mistakes, but that's the only way to learn.
And not only that, everything that you've done feeds into this. So what was this evolution that made you say, okay, I'm going to do this and call it 60 Days Away?
Yeah, good question. I was doing traveling full time. I was getting paid to travel and I was becoming pretty successful at it. And so people were, of course, knocking down my door saying, how can I do this? Can you teach me? I want to make money traveling. And I was like, yeah, sure. So I created just a blanket course. It was just like $19.99. Really like an all-in-one, this is what you need. This is your mindset. Like this is your niche, your deliverables, whatever. And that was great. And I made a couple TikToks about it and they went like semi-viral. So that was great. I felt like I was helping people in my own way, but I wasn't like fulfilled. I think what I know now to be fulfilled, that wasn't it.
Okay.
And so then people would reach out to me and say like, can you do one-on-ones? And can that be a thing? So then I created like a one-on-one course. So this was the ultimate. So this was me meeting with you over Zoom. And then also we had many meetings after that. And I would say, this is from what I see and what you have told me, this is what I think your niche should be. Like you're going to go travel with your dog. You're going to go travel with your kid. This is, these are the types of places you should pitch, how to find their emails, how much you should be charging, like everything.
Amazing.
I kept running into this same problem almost every time. I have had like 2 clients be the exception of what I'm about to say. I can't do it. The fear of rejection. This whole just limiting belief bullshit where I'm like, I literally laid everything out. It's perfect, but you don't believe you can do it. So it's not going to happen for you. You get, and it's a numbers game too. So if you're sending out like 10 emails a day, you should probably expect to hear like nothing back or maybe 7 or 8 or 9 no's. Mm-hmm. And you need to be comfortable with rejection. And it was, there's something wrong with me and I'm not good enough. And I'm like, we kept running into the same thing. Excuse me.
You're right.
And I was like, shit, people really need help in this area. Like I'm running into the same problem of this mindset is a huge issue and is really holding you back because I'm seeing that there's money to be made. I can't make all the money by myself. I'm only one person. I can only be one place at one time. There's so much money on the table left for you guys. I'm spelling it out for you. And so Tim, my husband, I would just talk to him about it all the time. And I feel like he was like, okay, like either sick of hearing me talk about it or like, let's be solution oriented. He's like, why don't you create a product? And I was like, I'm not doing that. Like I was so shut off to the idea of creating a product. And he's like, you use a journal. At that point, let me back up a little bit. I like hated journaling. I'm not a journaling person. That was my whole story.
I'm like, what?
Right? I hated journaling, everybody. As she owns a journal. So it's bizarre, the shit we tell ourselves. He was like, you should create a journal. Like, you've done so many different ones in the past. And I was like, no. Shut it down immediately. And then I woke up the next morning and I was like, fuck, I think you're right. There's something here. And so I took little pieces that I liked from other journals, and I liked this gratitude section, and I liked this prompt section, and then I added shit that was just my personality. Like, as you know, you have the journal. And so that's kind of how it started, based on what I saw in the market and my past experiences.
Yeah. Well, that's what they say too. They're like, what problem is everyone having? And then that's what you go to help solve.
Yeah.
And that's exactly what you did.
That's what I did.
But what about 60 days away? You needed to just maybe to find like a light at the end of the tunnel for people, or?
Well, yes, but also I found that worked best for me. So I took my practices that I liked from different journals.
Perfect.
And I tried a 6 month, and that was too long.
It is.
And I
that
tried
is way too long.
a 2 week, and I was like, that's too short. You don't have, first of all, you can't even create a habit really and stick to it and have consistency in 2 weeks, in my opinion. I'm not a habit expert, but I really don't think you can.
Though they say actually it's about 50 days.
Okay, great.
55. So you're right on track.
Yeah.
They say it varies. I've done some studying about it, and they say it varies, but there's some old thing that was like 3 weeks. That's bullshit.
No,
way.
it's total bullshit. So yeah, I picked and choose, and the 60 days really worked for me. I tried it a bunch of times. I mean, I worked on the journal for 7 months before I put it out there. But before I even put pen to paper, so to speak, and started designing it, I tested, I iterated. So it was really like a year and a half before it
Did you have a team or anybody that was helping you? Just you?
It's all me.
So I think that's an important thing to talk about and at least like address, because I'm doing that too. Like I'm, creating these courses and dealing with like, email systems, whatever they're called, ESPs, and, all these other things that I have never even really delved into.
Funnels and shit.
Very little bit, Yeah. And it's just a little overwhelming, and I have to like scale it back and just take it step by step and just know that there are people that figure it out. And so
Totally.
yeah. So when you don't have a team, can you just speak to that a little bit? Because I have, team envy a little bit, but at the same time, I think there's a lot of value in learning to do it yourself.
That's all it is there's value in learning to do it yourself, because I am a very creative person.
Yes,
and
you
I
are.
love doing design, and I love talking about, ways to market and how to iterate, and
Full 7 energy.
Full 7 energy. Then you want to talk to me about logistics. It's a full-on nightmare. And I'm like, I don't want anything to do with it, but the product can't be launched if you don't talk about logistics. So it was either you hire somebody and spend money that you don't know if you're going to be able to make back.
Yep.
Also, you only ordered 1,000. So like, is that even going to make sense from a margin standpoint to hire somebody right now? Or it doesn't get launched at all. So it's how bad do you want it, and what are you willing to prioritize? I was on YouTube just looking up so much shit. I'm not a graphic designer.
I remember you doing that.
I used Canva, for the love of God.
I mean, Canva's awesome.
Hell
I
yeah.
gotta hand it to Canva.
Hell yeah.
Big shout to Canva.
So
I use it
easy.
all the time. Like all the time.
It's
and they keep
user-friendly.
expanding, doing new things.
I know. I'm a fan.
They were the other day I read that they were like, slide a PDF in here and you can completely edit the whole thing. And I was like, what?
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
So ideal. And then I just researched like how to find a manufacturer, how to find a supplier, a printer, how to self-publish, and then from a logistics standpoint.
Amazing.
In terms of like legality, I'm like, should I trademark or should I copyright? I don't know the difference.
I don't either.
So for
What'd you
that,
do?
I got,
Share.
I got on Upwork actually and talked to an attorney, because I was like, I'm not fucking around with this shit.
No.
I'm not trying to get sued. I'm not trying to have me pay back some bullshit sum for using a name or something. Trademark and copyright. Trademark, I think, is and correct me if I'm wrong, anybody watching, you can come for me, it's fine. I think it's the title, and then the copyright is the contents.
Okay.
Or that could be flip-flopped. I don't know.
I think that's correct.
Yeah,
Because you
so-
copyright songs. You don't trademark them.
That's right.
Yeah.
So I did something like that. And then I had like a million covers, which, again, another learning experience. I'm sold out currently. I just ordered 2 more covers, and I'm just going to do 2 covers.
Good.
One of them is the black and white that's already like a bestseller and people know and love it, and it's gender neutral and it's great. It's simple. And then another one is coming soon. So I had so many covers at the beginning, but I'm like, people like options. And so it's just a learning thing, you know?
Yeah.
Especially when you're doing it by yourself, you don't necessarily have the team to be able to bounce ideas off of. So you're really just figuring it out on your own, you know, and you have to be okay, I think, with constructive criticism, not talking shit about yourself, but saying like, I could have done that better. Because there's a difference.
Yeah, that's challenging because then you get into like, well, it's just about improvement, right? I mean, yeah. And I can be a little too critical of myself and I have to like think, what would I tell a friend and how could I accept it like a friend, I guess.
Yeah? Mm-hmm. That's tough.
It is tough. It's really
I'm pretty
tough.
hard on myself too.
Me too. Very.
But I think there's some value in that. I think there's some value and some harm.
Okay.
You know, you shouldn't talk shit on yourself.
No.
You shouldn't be like, you know, let's look in the mirror and tear us apart. But I think in terms of a motivational standpoint, there's a lot of like value in that.
Yeah.
Like, you got to keep going.
Well, that's interesting because you just shared something on your TikTok that I screenshotted today, but it's on my phone.
You did.
So yeah, you said screenshot this and it was like things to, I think, you know, mantras or something to move forward with, habits or something like that. And one of them was like, quit talking shit to yourself. But yeah, it's like
totally.
the negative one.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. We got to stop doing that.
Yeah.
It's horse shit.
So what in your, did you use the 60 days away process in your own life to create this stuff?
To create the
like
journal?
your card journal? I mean, your card deck?
Oh, yeah. I didn't know this time last year that I was going to have another product. I didn't even know I was going to sell through 1,000.
Right.
So everything just happened and is happening so fast, but in a sustainable like growth type of way. And so I saw the feedback and I received a lot of feedback on the journals that, you know, I mean, millions of messages. Just, you're changing my life. You helped me manifest.
Millions?
Not millions.
Okay. I was like,
no, we're not that big yet. No, but a lot.
A lot.
I try to screenshot as many as I can and put them in a folder in my phone.
Smart.
So that I can just like, you know, when I need a little pick me up. But, you know, one girl sent me a picture of her at the dealership with a car that she just bought. And she's like, I bought this because I used your journal. I've been manifesting this relationship. I've been manifesting like, and I needed to get my mind right and use your journal before I could enter a relationship. Like, powerful stuff where I'm like, oh my God.
Yeah. And that's exactly what we were talking about with the people that were holding themselves back, because really that's the base of all of this.
Totally.
Because I do it too. And you do it too.
Totally. Like if you think you're not going to do it, you're not going to do it.
Yeah.
So having it be so well received, and I'm my goal for the whole year as I want to inspire as many people as I possibly can. And I was like, shit, I'm doing it. So, but how else can I do it? And like, how else can I have fun creatively? We did the journal. That was fun. It's still fun. I'm still being fulfilled by that. Thank God. Because I'm like, what's next? Normally. But I'm like, I'm good right now. It's fulfilling me. And then I got an idea for the cards. I don't know where the idea came from. I just woke up one day. I don't think I had dreamed about it. I don't know where it came from. I woke up and I was like, shit, this could be cool. And I could put my own spin on it and have it be disruptive, but really digestible for people who are maybe at the beginning of their path. Maybe they don't like journaling. I wanted it to be easy for people.
Well, yeah. And just simple thoughts and questions, you know, just to get things going, at least in that direction. Right.
Yep.
I wish I'd brought it up here, but, I've really enjoyed it too. I keep it on my downstairs altar. So you're on all my altars.
Oh, okay. Hell yeah.
Yes. So did you ever have some setbacks that really like, I don't know, that you had to work to overcome in all this?
Yeah, a lot.
Yeah.
I'm currently in one right now. It's really fun. Yeah, it's great. But at the beginning,
can we talk about it?
Yeah, we can.
Okay, great. You're so open. I love that about you.
I mean, I have to be. There's no point in keeping it in here.
No, there's not. And actually, that is what usually invites in help and invites in opportunity and gets it. It's just getting it out.
Yeah, and you don't know what can come of it.
No. Are you ready to up-level your pleasure practice? I have in mind, and one of the tools that I've used is from Wands. That's WAANDS. One of my favorite items that they have is the cervix wand. It is their #1 best-selling glass pleasure wand for vaginal and anal de-armoring. That means more sensation. That means more getting in touch with your body. It's designed for cervical and G-spot stimulation, and it has helped thousands of women become more connected to themselves and their own pleasure while supporting them to heal pelvic pain through self-yoni massage. So if you are curious about getting more in touch with yourself, then I have an offer for you. You can get a discount using my code Amy Edwards, but if you use the link in the show notes, you can get 20% off from Wands. They have so many other beautiful items to choose from, with a large selection of 100% pure crystal pleasure wands. They create the most gorgeous, luxurious products that encourage you to honor your body, celebrate your sexuality, and live in pleasure, which is a big part of what we're about on this show. And yes, I use one myself. So go today to wands.com, that's WAANDS, and use the code Amy Edwards for 10% off, or use my link in the show notes for 20% off of your purchase from Wands. Again, my favorite is the cervix wand. It is trademarked and it is amazing. Take it from me. Check it all out and the reviews on wands.com. That's WAANDS.com, and use my link in the show notes for 20% off.
Okay, so Amazon is a nightmare to work with in terms of their customer support. So at the very beginning, when I ordered 1,000 journals, I sent them all to Amazon. They have a process of scanning them in, and then they send inventory to different warehouses all across the country so that it's closer for you. If you are a Prime member, you can maybe get it in one day, you know?
Got it.
Okay. So they scanned them in, but lost half of them. Okay. So I'm, of course, go straight to freak out mode.
This was recently?
This was December of last year.
The first round.
And it ties into kind of what's happening now.
Okay.
And so I was like, cool, well, it's about to be holiday season, and that's kind of the biggest time frame, I think, for where I can make my money. New Year's resolutions,
New
people
Year's
gift.
I mean,
right.
really. Yes.
Okay. So then I was like, well, I need to sell them, and I really want to bring this to the public. So send them all back to my house. I will create a Shopify website, and I will be the fulfillment center. Oof. Which was a pain in the ass, to be very honest, because I was at the post office every day. I didn't want to be at the post office every day, but that's what happens when you found a company. You got to, you're going to run into shit, and then you need to iterate and improvise and make it work. Mm-hmm. Okay. So that happened about 6 months ago. Something similar happened.
Did they found the other 500
found them,
and they sent them back to you. So that's the ones that were
like 3 months later. So then again, I had an issue with Amazon like 6 months ago, and I was like, I'm going to pull my hair out.
Do you think they do this on purpose so you use Amazon to print things?
I don't use Amazon to print them. Oh, yeah. Oh, probably. I'm not even.
They make it harder for you so you would use them.
Yeah, they're probably like, you should just do Amazon KDP. And yeah. Mm-hmm.
Just, the conspiracy theorist in me is like, oh.
No, I'm here for it.
Part of their master plan to overtake the world.
I wouldn't put it past them.
I wouldn't either.
At all. I was so pissed. I was like, who knows anybody working at Amazon? Like, I was like, I need fucking help. Okay, so now the issue is, all right, so there were multiple cover options the first run. Mm-hmm. So all of those have individual SKUs. Now, because I'm only doing 2, how can I describe this in an easy way? To add them to the same listing, I'm able to do. However, the black and white cover initially, on the inside, like if you open up that journal, there's a little gradient that's like pink or purple or something. Pages aren't just black and white. Okay. There's a little color on the pages. This run, I wanted, let's do as simple as possible. I just want black and white.
Sure.
So it's the same exact journal, but the color is different. Therefore, I had to copyright the inside contents and create a different SKU. So same journal, but different SKU. Whoa, because the SKUs,
is a lot.
It's a whole thing. Essentially, because the SKUs don't match up, they're like, we have to take your whole listing down, which means all of my reviews, aka all of my credibility, will go in the trash, which pissed me off because there's no way around it. Or you add the listing, you add it all together, and there's just going to be like 10 different variations. They're all sold out except for the 2, which I guess is best case scenario. It just looks dirtier. It's not as clean.
Yeah.
So whatever. So cool, that's going on. And then I talked to my printer and somebody who is supplying the product for me because they're made in China right now. And they're just sitting in China. They haven't been shipped yet. I'm out of inventory and hi, it's the holiday season. We're getting into the new year. So first, it was complete panic. My lag times, though, are shorter. So I do get pissed. I do get angry. I'm like, this is horse shit. But I don't stay there for long. And it's also causing me to focus on everything else I have. There's a digital version that's instantly downloadable, that's cheaper, that I can learn how to market.
I saw you put that on
I have my
TikTok.
cards that I can learn how to market better.
Yeah.
And my husband was like, Amanda, this is a good problem to have. I was like, oh, how so? Tell me. And then he's like, what did he say? Something like, I understand you're upset or I understand you're frustrated, but is this really like the highest version of you right now? And I was like, bitch, you are not using my own line on me right now. I was like, shit, but you're right. Mm-hmm. So we're working through it. I'm shifting my focus now, which is kind of like, as I'm in the middle of doing it, I'm still kind of annoyed because it's like, I could be helping all these people and like people can buy them as gifts for other people who may not have been journal people. But now I'm like, I can market the cards. I can learn how to make fun TikTok videos and get creative, things that I like to do in a different way. And this is my opportunity now. So
truly,
I'm fully in it now.
Truly it is. And he was right to say that. That's it's when we're putting out, I did that solo episode about that, you know, you messaged me, but it's all like, when you're putting out that kind of content, life's going to be like, do you really mean this? Are you really walking the walk?
Exactly.
And then you learn the lessons that actually benefit what you're selling, what you're putting out.
I know. Go figure.
Go figure.
Go fucking figure.
So annoying.
But I'm glad that it happened.
Good.
I had to learn this lesson somehow, you know.
Right.
So truly.
Congrats.
Thank you.
I mean, for getting to that point, you know,
hell yeah.
Just, it's such a win to be able to say like, I'm grateful that this happened.
Totally.
Because I've had a lot, even in the last few months, and I'm like, oh my gosh, how can I find gratitude for this?
Yeah.
You know, and it's really zooming out and looking at the bigger picture a lot of times, and then finding those spaces that you can work on something else.
Yeah.
And find opportunities, right?
Yes. Something else could come from me having this quote unquote free time.
Yeah.
So I'm here for it.
I'm glad.
And I think it's easier too to focus on finding gratitude when you practice it every day, you know?
I do too.
Before pre-journal, Amanda wouldn't have probably acted like
Were you
this.
not practicing gratitude then? I feel like you were, but
I was, but it wasn't a ritual yet. It wasn't, there wasn't consistency in it. There wasn't this like habit formed.
you hadn't like trained yourself necessarily.
Yeah. It was just when I saw something, I was like, oh, good reminder. I should think of 3 things I'm grateful for right now.
Yeah.
But it wasn't like, let's start the day like that, because that's really important.
Yeah. How much of like the other things that you do have factored into this, including, I know that you've done some therapy and things like that. Like, how much of that has fed, you know, this journey into the 60 days away?
I think everything that I do is just an extension into my products. So therapy, any podcast I listen to, any music, like anything that resonates with me or a lesson that I learn, I want to also bring that to people in a way that is very much my personality, which probably means there's going to be a few curse words in there.
Yeah.
And I don't want to like shove it down your throat mentality. I want to be like, here are all the things I learned, and I can't make you learn them because you have to learn your own lessons, but I can tell you about them. In either a funny way or through a product or through a video or just a serious way, anyway. And then hopefully that resonates so that when you do come to a point in your life when you have to learn that lesson, you're like, oh shit, I remember, like, I actually can do this. And here are some tools. So
I agree. I totally agree. How has this been received, like another pivot?
I think because it's like under the umbrella of the wellness brand, I haven't really had any of those limiting beliefs come up, because it's kind of like the same thing. It fits. It's aligned.
But even just moving into the journal and stuff like that, do you feel like, how was your family and friends and stuff?
Everyone was really supportive.
I just had a flashback to the first episode we did when you were like, if they're not supportive, there's the door.
I thought of that too. I was like, no. There were some people who had verbally said, I am so proud of you. This is incredible. You're going to help a lot of people. And then I think, in my opinion and in my story, the people who were not supportive of it, there's the door. Like they did exit and they did leave my life. Yeah. And that's okay because,
I do.
Yeah. Just, there's so much I could say about that. But it's all for something. It's all a part of something bigger. And if they weren't meant to support me, then they would only be, quote unquote, like bringing me down and lowering the vibration and lowering my possibility of what I came to this earth to do, which is inspire as many fucking people as I can. And honestly, I don't think that this is not the final form. Like, I'm going to have so many more pivots.
God, you're so young. You're going to have tons.
My brain is percolating. I'm always thinking of like, oh, what else can I do? How else can I inspire people? Like, and I just feel, I have this feeling that's so strong in me right now. That's like, you are going to look back and be like, holy shit. Like, it was just, you had to do this, to do this, to do this. And now look at you now. And I'm fucking stoked. I can't wait. Whatever it is.
You are. And that's sometimes a little tricky to remember that you can look back and, because you can already do that. Like, you've already come so far. And it's nice to have somebody that can remind you sometimes. Justin reminds me sometimes, and he's like, look at this and this and this. And then I'll tend to be like, yeah, but he was just doing that last night. He was like, you wrote a book? I go, it took me 12 yeyears. And he's like, but you did it.
Why do we do that? Why do we do that?
Like, but it's not really what I want to write about. I don't know, and he's like, well, you did it. And he's like, quit that, But instead I have a tendency to kind of like, think I'm putting it in reality as if that exists. And so, yes, I think that is a beautiful thing and call to others to say, hey, look how far you've come.
Totally. Also, look at all of my pivots. Look at everybody in your life's pivots. Next time you have anything negative to say about pivoting. I think pivoting is great.
Tell me more. Please expand. Please, I need this. Please expand.
It's the best thing. I mean, you could look back in your life and be like, I was supposed to pivot and I didn't know it at the time, but now there's so much clarity around that.
Yeah.
It's a beautiful thing.
Yeah. It's like and how do you feel about the not forcing and finding the flow? Because when you're creating something like this, it's tricky to be like I did with my course. If you haven't heard that episode, y'all, it's the solo one I did just a few weeks back, and it was about losing my filmed content. And I thought, well, is this? So I'm not supposed to do this.
Yeah.
Obviously,
it's a sign.
Obviously. Yeah. And so, but I did it anyway.
Hell
I'm like, where do you find that balance of like listening and finding that flow versus like, this is a wall being put up?
It's a love-hate with me.
It's really challenging.
I'm not that great at it. Like, I think because I just haven't practiced it enough. But for me, I've run into the wall of like, I'm so impatient. And if I have something, I don't want to sit on it. I want to put it out there because done is better than perfect.
Damn right.
Ladies and gentlemen. Mm-hmm. And so I just go and I put it out there and then I'm like, okay, what's next? And then, well, it didn't work. Well, is it because you rushed or is it because it's not meant to be? And so then I play this game with myself of like, well, you should have slowed down, or maybe it's not well received because, XYZ, you're not meant to be doing it. And so it is a love-hate. And I don't know the answer. It's just, you have to practice. It's a practice. The whole thing is a
tough one because you hear so many stories about startups, let's say, or anybody that's going for something, building something, and you get no's, mm-hmm. And then like, it's that balance of like, no, this is what I'm supposed to do. Like, and that drives me, and I'm only, and it's, am I desiring it too hard? Versus like letting go and allowing flow. And
yeah.
I mean, like I have trouble with all that, but what I do know, and I bet you can resonate with this, is that as I'm creating these courses, it comes easy for me. And that part, the creative part, mm-hmm. feels like a flow, and it feels good.
Yeah.
And it feels right. So I'm like, okay, Well, I guess I'll just keep doing that.
That's a good sign too.
Yeah.
It's got to feel natural. It can't feel forced.
Maybe that's the
that's the key,
trick.
maybe. My first business, I was so passionate about it and I loved it. And then I
Would
wasn't.
we be talking about traveling?
No, I had a clothing boutique.
Yes.
And so then I just didn't love it one day. And so then I think if you just don't love it for a lot of days in a row, you got to take a look at your life and say, like, is this worth pursuing? Do I love it? Do I love the impact? Do I love the messaging? Do I love it enough to continue? Do I love it enough to keep going? And if the answer is a resounding no consecutively, maybe set a date, set a timeline for yourself. Then it might be time to take a hard look in the mirror and say, this is not my path.
Yeah.
Because the business is not going to be a resounding yes every day either. Even if it's your life's passion, every day is not going to be a yes.
A lot of things aren't.
Yeah.
Marriage,
Perfect.
having kids. I mean, there are days when you're like, I don't know if this is for me.
Exactly. Yeah.
Right?
But it's challenging, but it's rewarding. And do the pros outweigh the cons on a net positive basis? Then fucking keep doing it.
Yeah. That's good. Because, it's just, I struggle with those sometimes, just those little questions. And, I think of like Michael Singer and how I don't know if you've listened to his book, Surrender Experiment, just like that. He was constantly just surrendering to different things. And when he was raising money, I'm going to paraphrase and probably butcher this story. So, but essentially he went to, all these different banks and was just turned down. And finally he was like, okay, fine. I'll go to one more bank. And then that's when he got it. But I mean, like he was on the verge of not, and just surrendered to that one last thing. And so anyway, just you hear so many stories of the screenwriter who got turned down, for years and then it's a hit. And just sometimes I don't know whether to be inspired by those stories or not.
Perception is everything.
Yeah.
I mean, like everybody else who started like quote unquote late in life, right? You say like, well, Walt Disney didn't start until, he was whatever years old.
Right.
And then it's like, shit, that's inspiring. I think it's just perception. Like,
it is because
extra thing is all
I can get kind of down because I'll look around on Instagram and there's these people that are just so successful and I'm like, oh my God, they're turning 26.
Yeah.
I'm like, I'm 50. What have I been doing with my time?
How do you? Because that just happened to me the other day. How do you like overcome that, or is it just a practice where you're just like it just gets better the more?
I just have to do daily practice to trust that I am on my own timeline and. Like we said, look how far you've come.
Totally.
And I really have, I have done these things and I am learning. So, I mean, there's an element of pep talk to yourself, I think in there, like disguised as affirmations,
yes,
and I'll get down or something. And I'm like, shut down social media. A little voice will say, shut down social media.
Good.
Because I have a terrible tendency to compare. That's been a big one for me to work on. And I talk about it in my course. And it's converting that comparison into, I'm being shown what's possible. Just stay in that mindset of being shown what's possible. You are magnetizing what's possible. And don't get too bogged down in like, I'm old or whatever bullshit, or I should have done this then, and it is a challenge some days. And
it's good. That's good advice though.
Is it?
I think so. Yeah.
Okay.
It's like reframing it into like a pep talk and affirmations.
It is.
Like, no, you are that bad bitch. Like you are.
Yeah.
Look at all the shit you've done.
Yeah. And I told it to Justin the other day, and this goes out to anybody that's listening to this, wanting to create something. He said, and I wonder if you'll agree, this was like last night or 2 nights ago. And I think I was talking about this and I was like, all these people are just kicking ass, they have hundreds of thousands of followers and they're selling all these things and creating all this amazing stuff. And he goes, if you zoomed out on all the users of social media, let's say, he goes, that is the tiniest slice of people that you're seeing. And he goes, so, just keep perspective in that, which is true. So if you're thinking about creating, you're already ahead of the game, probably.
Yep. Yep. I mean, think of like even just who you're seeing on social media too. It's such a small controlled group of people.
It really is.
It's like one small room, but there's a whole bunch of rooms in the house that you don't even know about.
And your room is actually being controlled by forces beyond you.
Yeah.
You know?
Totally.
Like it's being controlled right now because our phones are near each other, you know? And I mean, so those are important to keep in mind too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, we got to stop this comparison bullshit. We're better than that.
I know, but it's just like everything else, it's a ongoing practice for me, you know, and I just have to recognize that like any other recovery, I guess, because I'm in a recovery mindset since I go to Al-Anon and all that. And it takes daily work.
Totally.
Like your journal, it takes daily work.
Yeah, that happened to me the other day. I was listening to your podcast while I was watching it. Because I'm such a fan of the video, I gotta say.
Oh, thanks.
No,
thanks.
I
It's
fucking
getting
love it.
better. Wait till you see. I've been redoing my videos. So I was having some color issues. And so now, yes, this one
Hell
will be
yeah.
great. I'm really proud of
Okay.
like what it's looking like.
I
so.
love like anytime it's like watch this, I'm like I'm gonna watch it.
Oh, nice. Okay.
I love it. Yeah, and I was looking at all of the like I did like a 10 seconds on like each one and like just reading the little bios of everybody that you have and then watching a little bit of it. And I was like,
Thank
all
you.
these people are fucking awesome.
They are awesome.
Every single person you've had on here, like I can learn so much from.
Mm-hmm.
And then guess what happened next? Well, who the fuck do you think you are? And I was like, bitch, shut it down. Shut it down. And I picked up my journal and I started journaling about it. I was like, I set my intention for the day because there's an intention section every day of the journal. That day was like something like self-confidence or self-worth. And I was like, you literally just said this morning, your intention for the day was to not have these bullshit negative ass thoughts. So shut it down.
Do you think maybe that's why they happened?
Probably.
Probably because you needed to be shown that lesson. Like,
Probably.
here's a little pain spot.
Yeah. Have fun.
Have a
Bye.
great time overcoming this one.
Yeah.
Times.
But like every yeah, I mean that happens. It happens, you know.
Yeah.
I can walk the talk and practice what I preach and be really really mindful and have the tools to back it up, but that doesn't mean that shit like that doesn't happen.
Right.
And
right.
I will 100% be honest about that every single time because it's only going to help somebody because you know you have the people who look at me and they're like, "You're so perfect. Your life is great," because of what their perception is of me and what I'm showing.
Yeah.
And it's like, "No, I also have my own shit too."
Yeah.
And if I can share it and inspire other people, that's what it's all about.
I agree. I mean, you know, we get along for a reason because I mean, 100%. That's why I just try to be really real about everything that comes up for me.
Yeah.
And I hope it's inspiring that like, or maybe it's depressing. I don't know, that I'm 50 and like, I'm just doing the practices to get there, you know, like, but it just takes this diligent work.
Yeah.
And that's the thing too, I think that maybe was causing that pain point that your clients were having and why you created the journal.
Yes.
Right? Because Justin was just saying this morning. He goes, I wish I was like a normal person that, you know, just can, you know, have drinks or go out or whatever. But he's like, I'm an addict and I have to do the work every single day and commit to sobriety. And I was like, yeah, but you know what? Thinking about it from what we're just talking about, it goes for anything.
It's the same.
Like, I wish that I didn't have to do all this and I could just check a box.
Right. It'd be easier. Your life would suck more, but we're out here doing it and our lives are better for it.
They are better for it.
So,
but I mean, I
makes
wish they
sense.
could be that much better and then just like we do it one time and it's done, but it's not.
It's like saying I wish pizza didn't have carbs.
Yeah, it is. It's part of like a spiritual hygiene.
Hell yeah. I like that. That's a good term.
It is. I think someone's used it or I've heard it before, but
I like it still.
I do too. It
yeah.
feels new.
Yeah.
So, but it is, I guess I was thinking of brushing your teeth, but it's like every day you're going to have to get up and it's like we were talking about on Women of Austin, which shout to Women of Austin and Mindy Hoffman, which we were on that episode recently
love her.
together with Brooke Stubbs. So I want to give a shout to that. But yeah, it's like I was talking about recommitment, you know, and waking up every day.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I think that, I don't know about you, but I think there are like little tiny practices that you can maybe only focus on one at a time. So like right now or in the past, my focus was getting a smaller lag time for this reaction. So that's practice. Like if I see the word Amazon pop up on my phone and I'm like, shit, right?
Your
like,
heart immediately starts racing.
Then I'm like, okay, we gotta cut this lag time. And I don't know if this is something we talked about on the first podcast, but when I first started using TikTok and I had a couple viral videos, it's like all of these hate comments that I was unprepared for and not ready for, and the shit that people would say would bother me for longer than it should have. And so it was like, okay, how are we gonna get better at this? We're gonna practice. So instead of this one comment bothering me for a week, we're not allowing it to go past 2 days and then 1 day and then 5 hours and then literally setting timers on my phone. I don't know if we talked about this before, but I will talk about this until I'm blue in the face because it's so helped me. Mm-hmm. I had a viral video go fucking stupid crazy like 2 weeks ago, and it was so many hateful comments.
Really?
So many hateful comments.
Wow.
Yeah, we can talk about it later maybe, but I was like, I'm so glad that I have this practice because I don't think you're ever going to be prepared, but when you practice at something constantly, and I think really you can only do like one thing at a time, mm-hmm. you get so good at it. And I'm like, I'm so fucking proud of myself because it didn't bother me like it would bother a lot of other people, and that's powerful.
It really is, because I've seen a lot of people post videos about a video that went viral and they got a lot of hate comments, you know?
That's so much energy.
It really is. And then you're spending time focusing on that, which I want to take the focus off that. I mean, I got mad about a post on Instagram yesterday, and I was like, do I make a comment? And I did. And then I thought all about that comment I made, and I was like, is that wrong? Did I say the wrong thing? Are people going to see that? And then I thought I should delete it. So then I went back, I looked at it, had gotten some likes, and I was like, okay, I'll leave it. And then I got some hate comments after that because everybody likes that creator. I had to unfollow. But anyway, then I was thinking about it more, and finally I was doing something. This is when I started mantras or saying affirmations out loud yesterday. I finally was like, I have thought long enough about this. Like, snap out of it. Who cares?
Yeah, exactly.
It's one dumb thing, and all his followers like it. Yes, it stuck with me when there's a zillion other positive things that I could be thinking about. So I started reciting affirmations out loud, but I had to force myself.
Good for you.
But I caught myself. So it's that stepping into that awareness of like, holy crap, I am dwelling on this.
Yeah. Good for you. That's good. I mean, I wish everybody would do that instead of leaving like shit comments. Be like, well, let me just say an affirmation before I type this, my little internet warrior friends. But
please say an affirmation before you comment, because my gosh, I mean, like in one of the comments,
oh God, are you still ruminating on this?
I did a little bit today. One of the, because there was another comment that's on it this morning, I should mute it, but he said something like, blah, 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 read that again, you know, which is such a rude thing to say. You would never in person say, read that again. Mm-hmm. Like it's kind of ugly, right? And people say that all the time. They say these throwaway social media things, you know,
that they would never say in real life.
In real life.
Never, ever. Mm-mm. What a concept.
So, and I just thought, okay, you know what? Just let it go. We know. Yeah. Like, and it's I think for us too, it's such a foreign thing for us. Like you and I would never, ever leave a hateful comment. Like I would never.
No.
Like it's just something I would never do. So that part of it, I think, is part of maybe the wrapping your mind around it, and the part that hurts a little more, because we would never do that. And I can't even understand doing it.
I start to think like, God, this world's so evil and it's just so hateful. And there's so many people out here who really think this. And then I'm like, actually, I have so many nice comments too. Like,
I know.
You're inspiring me, and people commenting about the hate. Like, why would you say that to her? Or why? And I'm like, yes, you
I
go
mean,
get
and
'em.
really, if we talked about the pros outweighing the cons, like you were saying,
Yeah.
really, I mean, I read a statistic about the good versus the bad, and really, there's so much more good. We just have this
Yes.
tendency, and I don't know why it is our brains. I'm sure there's some psychological evaluation about it or something, but our brains can tend toward
Yep.
those negatives.
We go right there,
I
right
do.
to the negative.
I do.
Yep. And then it's just, harder to snap out of it, but absolutely doable if you practice it.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So yes, everyone, please don't mind the sound of a leaf blower in the background. That's just part of the studio.
Fall in Texas.
That's part of the
Or is it winter?
charm of where we record. So good. I meant to open with this,
Okay.
but we're going to do it now.
Okay.
45 minutes in. So you always show up just looking like to the nines. Like, I love the way you show up, the way you dress. And how much of that is showing up looking the part, rather than waiting for it to be? Have you always done that? Or is that something that you consciously do to look the part of who you want to be?
I think the answer is because I'm such a creative person, I find a lot of expressionism in clothes. And with my degree in fashion, I think that all kind of ties together. Like, I just have like a really fun, funky closet. So I want to like show that off. To your point, and I don't know if this is the answer that you were looking for or really an answer to the question, but wherever I'm going will dictate what I'm wearing. Like, I know you and I are friends. I know that I'm just like coming to hang and chill with you. Like, before this podcast, there was no, let's talk about this. I didn't have to prep for anything. It was just a conversation. So I'm like, I'm going to wear sneakers.
Good.
And my grandmother's old Buffalo Bills shirt and a pair of fun trousers. And like, I don't know if that's like playing the part, but like, I don't know if
I don't mean
really
playing a part. I mean like showing up as your highest version, really.
Oh,
and that channeling, like, okay, the highest version of me that I've written out always shows up looking like a fucking rock star.
Oh, no, I hate that. I hate everything about it. I don't ever want anybody to perceive me like that. I think that's not who I am at all. Like, I'm very much a mess. I'm very much like, yeah, sure, she journals every single day, but like, also had a breakdown last week. And, I try to be on like Instagram stories is where I share a lot of these things, sometimes TikTok videos, but like I'm crying on the camera and I don't want to be trauma dumping, but I'm like, okay, this really sucks and this happened in my life, but here's how I'm dealing with it too. Like, I don't know if you saw, like, when I was throwing the ice cubes, we're also focused on solutions. So like, yes and no. I think people really, really like polished and filtered, but there's this new wave of people coming out and they're like, we want real, like the Be Real app, for example. But I've been hearing a lot of feedback of like, I was talking to Tim about it and he was like, I don't like Be Real. I want to see filtered sometimes. And I'm like, but not everyone does. And so I cater, but I still come through authentic. And I don't want to ever be putting on a show. I always want to be like, I'm fucking real. I've always been like this. I've always been into country music, for example. And if you don't like that I'm at a country music concert, you can unfollow me, but I'm not going to change because the highest version of myself isn't seen going to country music concerts. You know what I mean? So
totally. Well, I like that you're differentiating between putting on a show and then, showing up as your highest version, because your highest version actually will be that super authentic person.
100%. Yeah.
So really, like, you have to say, am I in authentic mode?
Yeah. Like in alignment with authentic.
Yes. In line with authenticity.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think like also showing people that like this is possible too. That's heavy. That's a lot of weight on like, okay, this is my personal page. Why should I be talking about any of my products? But sometimes I get joy out of doing it, not from a selling standpoint, but to show people like there is happiness that can be achieved immediately. There are habits, there are goals that like you can have all of the things you want essentially if you get your fucking mindset together.
Yeah.
And so however I show up, it resonates to certain people. But if I say the same exact thing in a different way, it'll resonate to other people. So it's like, it's heavy and I can't play those parts all the time and I'll lose track. So it's like, just show up and be yourself and show other people that it's possible to be successful by just being you. Excuse me. And you will be.
I love that. I really do.
Yeah.
I think for me, sometimes I have to think like, okay, if I was feeling my best right now, how would I look? What would I do? And then I have to go ahead and be that to feel it sometimes. Like it helps me get there.
Yeah, totally.
And just the practice of like cleaning myself up makes a difference.
Oh, hell yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
So I think that I love what you were saying and I totally get it, but I think I also do the other. It's not putting on a show, but it's like making myself okay. If I, had a podcast that was like Lewis Howes or something, and like I had all these things, like what would I show up like right now? So go ahead and do that, Amy.
Yes. You're kicking yourself in the ass.
Yes.
Hell yeah.
Yes.
I like doing that sometimes. This is like, if I wake up every single morning and I say to myself, before I open my eyes, you're going to be your higher self today. You're going to you're going to have the best day ever today. And then I wake up and I don't do anything. That's on me. But am I showing that to the world? Because perception and in my goal of inspiring people don't necessarily go hand in hand and can contradict each other. So if I'm just like sitting around being a piece of shit, instead of saying, which I love doing, by the way, but if I say to myself, okay, what would your higher self be doing? All right, cool. So go make a video, go curl your hair, go do what you need to do and quote unquote play the part, then that's going to get me in that mood. So that resonates with me.
Yes.
100%.
Yes. But believe me, I'm really good at sitting around too.
I love it. Listen, I love it.
So do I.
fucking love it.
What do you do when you're sitting around? Yeah, same.
Oh God. To my detriment sometimes, but
Yeah.
That's how I get inspired. I get inspired by watching like TikTok videos. I get inspired by, like I said, I'm really creative. So I get inspired by like photos, videography, and then I'm like, ooh, how can I put my spin on this? Mm-hmm. How can I?
That's good. It's good to stay in that mindset of creativity because it can, for me, sometimes slide into comparison, and I have to just remember, like, nope, just. And I have to shut it down when I do that, but I have to be really hard on myself to shut it down because that's just difficult for me.
Yeah, well, that's okay.
And that's
it's a possibility for you. I was listening to a podcast yesterday and I was like, oh God, she did this whole business and around like trade shows and shit. And I was like, should I be doing trade shows? And so like my mind is like, this is how I inspire myself. I get creative ideas and then I'm like, should I look into this for myself? And then maybe yes, maybe no. But like, I don't know, just something to, even if I'm sitting, it's like, we still have to like, my mind is just, how can I be creative? How can I iterate on this? So it's fun for me.
Yeah, me too.
That's why I like it. I also like eating on my couch. So
me too. I love food.
Hell yeah.
I do too. So that's been a whole thing too. So, I eat to cope. And so that's been something I've had to recognize in my own life.
Good for you.
Yeah. It's old habits and,
Yeah. I did the same
food
thing.
is comfort for me.
Yeah. I audibly said it like last week. When I was like going through a hard time, I was like, now I'm going to go to the kitchen and eat my feelings. Tim was like, all right. Like there's a little bit of humor in that, but I think recognizing it too is then when you recognize it, then you can start to attack it and figure out how to like get better. But sometimes I'm like, I'm okay with it. I'm okay with it.
Sometimes it's okay, and I mean, recognizing it is a huge thing for me. So, and really I've surprised myself because I've been kind to myself through it, like through the weight I've gained and stuff. And I'm like, I still think I look great. And I'm And so I'm like, okay, that's a shift for me.
Yes.
A big shift.
That's huge.
I know it is. So
good, I'm proud of you.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
It's been a big step for me. So, and just it's just that reframe and that mindset and really just being kind to yourself, but it's self-love work in the end.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. And so you even saying that, I mean, you're loving yourself in those moments.
Yeah, totally.
and approaching it with humor.
I love comedy. Like I love like stand-up comedy, comedians. Like I love to listen to like podcasts where people are just cracking jokes. And so like there's a lot of that in my life. And somebody asked me once and they were like, "Are you using comedy to cope?" And I was like, I don't know, probably, honestly, but maybe there's a little bit in that if I'm being honest, but I just love just fucking joking about shit, and it's hilarious.
It is hilarious.
It's so
like how much of this is about not taking yourself too seriously?
Yes, exactly. That's what I was just gonna say. It's like I mean, shit. We could be in a fucking simulation. Who knows at this point?
We don't know.
We don't know.
No.
So why are we taking shit so seriously?
I agree.
I mean, honestly, Amazon, get the fuck out of here. It doesn't matter. At the end of the day, it doesn't matter because I'm still happy. I'm still fulfilled. I'm still living my life. If that were all to disappear today, I'd just have to shift and I'd probably make a joke about it and then we'd be on our way, you know? So that helps me. And I love comedy so much.
I think I do too. And I think like somebody said that to me, I think when last year, Justin went to rehab and stuff, and I was in a meeting or something, and I started laughing, and she was like, "That's so good that you're laughing."
Yes,
and I was like, "Yeah, it is. It is like once you can at least find that space to be like, oh, okay."
That's like a point. I feel like you're so low, and then you hit a point where you can laugh about it, and then it just all gets easier.
It does. So
one time, really quick tangent. I was working. I think I was working at like the Olive Garden or something. And I just started and it was like my second day and I was serving and I went back into the kitchen and the chef handed me a plate and it was hot and I didn't know it was hot. And I spilled the whole like chicken parm, like lasagna, everything everywhere. And I go, like without skipping a beat, I look at him and I was like, one day you and I are going to laugh about this. And everyone was like, who is this girl? And I think about that all the time because I'm cracking up about it.
Right.
Like, I think it's fucking hilarious. But like in these moments where some people just go, oh my God, like, I'm so sorry. And they start crying and like, how could I? I'm like, it's just a fucking plate. Don't cry over spilled milk, you know, like make like, let's all be more lighthearted.
I mean, how can we skip to that part a little faster?
Right.
It's like when you were talking about training yourself with the comments, you know, can we train ourselves to just laugh about it a little bit faster?
Yes.
I mean, I've felt like that with things that have gone on. I'm like, can I skip to that part?
Yeah. Can we fast track this?
And I think we can.
Hell yeah.
Now, I don't want to spiritually bypass, or I don't really know what that means, but I think that means when you like skip to something else rather than feeling your feelings. I don't want to say that, you know, I don't want to say that.
Yeah. It's important to feel the feelings.
Yes.
If you don't feel feelings, we're going to have some real problems.
Yeah.
But like feel them for a little bit.
Right.
Fully, deeply, then maybe keep going. Don't spend a lot of time there if you don't need to. And then we're going to laugh about it.
Yeah. I mean, to me, I just don't have the time to stay in a depressed mindset because I have kids. And so
people need you.
People need me. And so I've had to like get it, you know, okay, let's move on through this.
Yeah. People need you.
Yes. So that's been interesting. But anyway, it's just about training ourselves and doing the work every single day.
Yay.
Yay. Yay. Hooray. So, as you were thinking about coming today, was there something in particular on your mind or anything that like was on your heart that you were like, I hope we get to this, or anything that you thought I really want to talk about?
That's a good question. I feel like anytime you ask me a question, I'm like, oh my God, I just have to be really fucking honest right now. Like, not that I like lie to people, but I'm like, oh, I just have to tell her right away. No, the answer is no.
Okay.
But something did come up for me that I was like, I've been like singing my whole life. I think we talked about this.
We
and
did.
Your ability to like push out and just be like, I'm going to do this singing thing. In whatever, however old you were when you first started.
38 with guitar and then almost 40 with singing.
Yeah, what the fuck? That's fucking incredible.
Ridiculous,
It's
right?
inspiring as fuck. It inspires the hell out of me. And
Thank
so
you.
I was listening to music on the way here and I was singing and I was like, oh, I'm going to go see Amy. And like, I'm so proud of her that she did this thing. And like, that's so inspiring because for me, I feel like that might be like a next step for me.
Yeah.
Let's just go and let's just do it. Mm-hmm. Who the fuck cares if it's another pivot? It's always been who I am. And it's just fun. Like sometimes we'll just do like jam sessions at home and I'm just like, oh, this is so fun. And even if it's nothing more than that, I want to do it more. And I need to be better at prioritizing it because I do have time.
Yeah. Are you singing country music?
I love singing country music. I love like country, but I also love like soulful, like jazzy, and then I love like rock. So
what's one of your favorite songs to sing?
No, I don't know. Okay, again with the like dichotomy. So I like a lot of like country music that's very like low and slow, and we're singing like with our diaphragm. We're not really using like heady voice. There's not a lot of like vibrato. I like a lot of Miranda Lambert.
Okay.
And then, but I also
She's
like,
funny too.
Is she?
I think so. In her songs, I think the way that she writes, and like she's clever and funny. And
I think I meant like hers. I'm like, I don't really know if I've ever like seen her in a conversation.
I haven't either, but just I'm thinking of her lyrics.
And then I like a lot of like belting stuff.
Ooh.
So it's good. And I want to like play around with that more.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good. I think you should. And thank you for what you said.
Totally.
It looks like from the outside, like, oh, you just did that. It's not like that at all. You know, it's much more, I had nervous breakdowns along the way, as I do. I like to do that.
Hell
I like
yeah.
to have a lot of nervous breakdowns, apparently.
Same.
I have this, I'm like in this space right now where I'm just like, you know, there's like the version of me that has the nervous breakdowns, and then there's one that kind of sees it and is like, oh gosh, get it together. And then there's like this other version of me, this higher version that's over everybody, and they're like, oh gosh, this is what she does.
Isn't that weird? Like that's just so like,
yeah. So I've kind of stepped into this like other awareness. But anyway, I did not just do it. I mean, it was
totally
conscious work on my part, and really just stepping into like, this is what life's presenting right now. So go ahead and do it.
Why
and
not?
So I did. So I say, yes, pursue it. And yes, you have lots of time. Lots of time. How old are you? 35?
32.
32. Sorry. Didn't mean to add years.
That's okay.
I'll
take it.
32. Oh my gosh, you have so much time.
Yeah.
Yes. So yeah, just allow it to blossom as it does, and keep doing it every day, and you never know what it'll turn into.
Exactly.
You know,
Totally.
maybe you're singing on TikTok and then suddenly you've got a record deal.
You know, that would be kick-ass.
Which happens.
I know, that really does happen.
It really does.
Have you ever tried singing on TikTok?
No. And you know what? Someone else asked me to, and I have thought about like singing affirmations and things like that. So I really should.
Wait, 100%.
I know.
There's a huge market for that.
I'm not a super confident singer. Okay. So it's taken a lot of work for me to do it because I'm not supernatural. I'm not a natural at it. Like my daughter is incredible. She's a total natural, and I have to work at it. And
that makes sense.
But
I mean, you lose it if you don't work at it.
Yeah, I take lessons every week. So I sing every week. Yeah. Okay. So I do train my voice because I use my voice so much. So singing and talking are the exact same thing.
Yeah.
And you're actually not singing from your diaphragm. You're singing from these lower muscles below it. Your diaphragm is doing automatic things no matter what.
Oh shit.
So okay. I know my voice teacher is really good. I'm actually going to put out a course about using your voice next year.
Okay.
With one on podcasting. So I can't think about those yet, but
well, I can't
a whole nother
that.
nervous breakdown waiting to happen.
Cool.
So,
cool.
But anyway, it did take a lot of overcoming and getting out of my comfort zone and so that is another space out of my comfort zone.
Yeah. You're going to have a lot of rejection. Sure. You're going to have a lot of people who are like, maybe her voice isn't for me.
Stick with your day job.
That's uncomfortable at first.
I've already heard a lot of that, luckily. So yeah, I mean, I heard that right off the bat when I put out my first EP. And so, so what? My voice isn't for everyone. No one's voice is for everyone. There's plenty of voices that like are nails on a chalkboard to me.
Exactly.
So,
come on.
Yeah. So anyway, I applaud you for stepping in and doing that.
Thanks. Thanks.
Have you written a song? Have you written anything?
I haven't written anything since high school. It's been a very long time.
Oh, but you have before.
I have.
Ooh.
Yeah.
That is cool.
Got like a bunch of letters in high school for just all of the time that I was doing musical theater and choir and everything.
Oh,
and then we had this huge senior project, and it was like, whatever you want to do with your life, like you have to do this culminating project. And mine was like, I composed and I written a song and I did this whole thing and I put it on a CD, and I thought I was the coolest person. It was one track, and I was just bumping it in my like piece of shit car on the way to high school. And I was like, I am the coolest.
That's so awesome. No, that's really good.
Yeah, I wish I still had it. I don't even know where it is. But I haven't written anything in a very long time.
That's
I just
okay.
like to do covers and shit. I just like keep it fun.
Just have fun with it,
Yeah.
because it's like we were talking about, when it's not that fun thing, it can challenge you.
100%.
Yes. Yeah. So,
Yeah, and I'm all for a good challenge, but I don't know right now if I want to.
you know what? The fact that it's on your mind says something. So
It's always on my mind. It's always been on my mind. And I'm like, I got to just step into it, because I'm like just feeling like the biggest fraud.
do you
Do what you want to do. And it's like, okay, well, I want to do a million things, but one of them that I really want to do, I'm not doing.
Yeah.
But I'm doing it privately.
Yeah.
I'm not doing it publicly. So
Do you follow Whitney? Whit in Love is her Instagram handle. I can't think of her last name. She was Aubrey Marcus's girlfriend for a long time. Short, blonde hair, real cute. And she, I don't know, she's in her 30s somewhere. And she just moved to Nashville and became a country singer. And she was like,
Good for
and
her.
he said something, or maybe she posted about it, or maybe he posted about it. And he was saying, I just am excited to see her progression, because I remember her crying over how bad she wanted to do this, but she was too scared. So
good
you know,
for
it's just
her.
about that, like opening up to it, and these like,
You have to let it go. Let
Yeah.
it be.
so shout out to her. I've asked her to
Hell
be on
yeah.
this show, because I'm like, I know all about this.
Yeah. Oh, you guys would have a
Yes.
great episode.
I know.
I
So
would listen to
she
that
said,
for
she
sure.
said yes. So hopefully.
Hell yeah.
Yeah. Hopefully we can make that happen. But anyway. All right. Well, so as we're wrapping up today, what do you want to leave people with? If you're leaving people with something today, what do you think that would be?
I think it's very fitting for me to say, don't be afraid to pivot.
Yeah.
You know, just whatever calling you have for your life, if you're not feeling like you are fully fulfilling that right now, first of all, that's okay. What move can you make to get to that point? And then do it again, and then do it again, and keep constantly reiterating on your life. Because if you're not pivoting, then you'll never know.
That's
You're
right.
not constantly challenging yourself. You're not growing. So just like, don't be afraid of the pivot.
Yeah.
Ooh, that's a good song title.
Don't be afraid of the pivot.
Don't copyright this.
It's already copyrighted. You said it. It's recorded. No, you did it.
No.
It's
Oh, okay,
yours.
great.
It's yours.
Great. All right.
It's all yours. I'm here to vouch for it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Don't be afraid of the pivot. And like, I don't know, when you're on your deathbed, what do you want to think? You want to look back and think, I'm so glad I did all that?
Yeah. I mean, the biggest regret is something like people in their dying bed. It's like 89% of people say that they regret not going after something. And that's a lot
really
of
high.
people. And I don't want to be one of those people. I want to be the 11% or whatever.
Then you better go for the singing thing.
Oh, hell yeah. Why not?
You're gonna have to,
Oh, for sure.
because of what you just said.
Exactly. I know.
I'm trying to think what mine would be. Like, what would I, if I were on my deathbed, like, what would I wish that I had done?
God, it doesn't have to be just one, too. Now like 40
No.
things are coming in my mind.
Really? Like what?
Oh my God, I want to do more singing. I want to do more musicals. I want to try stand-up comedy.
Oh, gosh. Yes, yes. I think you'd be great at it.
I got a couple bits.
I bet you do. I bet you do.
Going to Kill Tony next month, so we'll
Oh,
see.
good.
No, just like, yeah, like I just want to put myself out there and do new shit, even if I suck. Even if it's like, oh, cool, comedy is clearly not your thing, but at least I tried.
Well, you have to do it. It's like when you were talking about the Olive Garden, you know, you were like, that was my second day working or whatever.
Yeah.
And I'm like, no matter how good someone is at something, they had a second day of work at it. They had a second day. At it.
Yes, I love that.
They had the first time, which sucked. And then they went back for a second day.
I know. Can you believe
So
it?
no matter who it is, remember that, you know?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
That's good. I like that.
It is good.
Okay, what would yours be?
Oh, if I'm looking back on my life, I'm pretty happy with the things that I've done. I'd like to impact more people and experience more cultures and do more in that regard and give more.
Okay.
Yeah. I don't feel like I've given enough. And so I'm really happy that I'm with the partner that I'm with, because that's his specialty, I think, you know? And so whether it's the people in Africa or however else he gives back. So
Yeah.
I think I've always been drawn to that in some way. And I've looked for people to inspire me in that way. And so I think that I have a lot more to give. And I think if I died and hadn't, I would be sad about that.
Ooh,
Yeah.
good.
Thanks.
Also, it's your lucky day because as we're recording this, it's Giving Tuesday today, my friend. There are
right.
lots of opportunities
You're right.
to give.
It is.
Yeah.
So yeah.
That's
Anyway.
a good one.
Yeah,
Love
I think
it.
so.
Selfless.
I think so. I think that, I don't know, I'm kind of surprised with my own answer, but as I was just reflecting, I was like, is it travel? Well, not exactly. Is it, but it's people.
Different cultures. Sure. There's travel involved in it. But I
Right.
think the end goal
Right.
is like, cool, I'm going to see these cultures. I'm going to travel and I'm going to meet all these people, but I'm
Yeah.
going to give back.
Yeah.
And it's going to make a difference. And that feeling is higher than anything else.
Yeah, one of my dad's favorite quotes was to know that one life has breathed easier because of you is to have succeeded is success, something like that. It's like Ralph Waldo Emerson, I think. So sorry, or Thoreau. I get those two mixed up.
One of them.
Those two are interchangeable in my world for some reason. Anyway,
That's good.
so I think because they each have three names, Henry David Thoreau. So yeah, I think that framing success in a way that benefits you is probably a key to feeling good at the end of your life.
And then do more of it.
Let's revisit this in 10 years and see how we feel.
Shit, let's revisit this next month. I'm going to call you and I'll be like, did you give back? How are you giving back? And then you could be like, are you singing more? It's called accountability, folks.
That's right. Do you have somebody that keeps you accountable? Is it your husband?
Yeah, he does sometimes. I
Yeah.
don't have like a quote unquote accountability partner.
Do you do it to yourself?
Oh, sure. I mean,
I
journaling,
do.
like that's how I set my goals. And then, some of them have timelines, some of them don't, because I don't want to be too attached to the outcomes, as you know. But some of them, it's like, okay, cool, I'm going to set a date for this. And then Tim keeps me accountable with like more of like fitness related goals too.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I'm not going to do that by myself. Let's be really honest. My strength is in a lot of like other type of goals that you need to be accountable for. But like the fitness and like the nutrition, I need somebody else to help me because it's still so, I don't know a word for it, but I just need help. So he helps me a lot with that.
Yeah. Well, it's just a practice like anything else.
Totally.
You're constantly improving.
Yeah.
As am I. So go us. And
Go
go
us.
everyone listening to this.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Is there anything we missed or anything that you want to say before we go?
Everyone listening is fucking awesome, and I love everybody.
Yes.
Thank you for having me.
I like that. Let's cover how everyone can find you, and it'll
Okay.
be up on the screen as well and in the
Perfect.
show notes.
Okay.
So
Exploring Amanda is my personal social media handle, and then also 6 Days Away is the brand that we talked about, the cards and the journal. You can find on Amazon when they come back in stock, or also 6 Days Away social media accounts, TikTok and Instagram.
is there a website 60 Days Away?
No.
Or is it all
It's
Exploring
exploringamanda.com. And so
Cool.
I have some journals on there. If you are not a fan of Amazon, which is totally fine, we got them on there too. So.
Yeah, congrats if you're off Amazon. I don't know how you
know.
did it, but way to go.
Really like good for you guys. I commend you.
I mean, me too, because
Yeah.
it's a beast to get rid of
drug.
in your life. It is a drug. I mean,
is.
I'm like beholden to Amazon.
Dude,
in so many
2-day
ways.
shipping. Come on.
Yeah, and my kids are too now, which is a bummer and a half.
Yikes.
I know. Generational. I know. So, well, thank you so much. I love you
Thank
so
you.
much. I was
I
so
love you.
excited that you were coming on because it
Yeah.
had been a year and a half. And I encourage everyone to listen to our first conversation too, because it is excellent, I thought. And
good
I'm
one.
so excited that we've been friends. So thank you for all that you share and how real you are and all that you're putting out to help
Thank you.
others. Way to go. It helps me. So thank you. Love
thank
you
you.
so much.
Love you.
And I love everyone here. Thank you for being here. Don't forget to rate, review, subscribe, follow Amanda everywhere. And of course, check out my courses. I have a free course out, The Ageless Mindset, the ultimate guide to look younger and feel happier in less than an hour. And it's true. It really will. It covers a lot of things that we were talking about today, including comparison and also worry too, which can be kind of tied up together. So anyway, I'm just so grateful for everyone here. So thank you. Share it with a friend if they came up today, like if just somebody you thought of, or you just want to like, let's talk about this. Let's talk about what we're going to think about on our deathbeds. It's fun. I highly recommend it. It's a good little exercise. So thank you so much for being here today. And thank you, Amanda. I just love you so much. And I love you. Till next time. This has been the Amy Edwards Show from Overcome Studios. Remember to rate, review, and subscribe. And thank you so much for being here. Sign up for our newsletter at amyedwards.com.